Hello, everybody. Send a comment if you guys can see me. This is my first time doing a live video of any kind, so definitely let me know if you can see me. Please do. While that's happening, I'll be washing my hands because obviously I'm touching my phone right now and we're going to be handling food, so definitely have to wash our hands. So while that is happening, introduce yourselves and get a sneak peek of what we'll be making today. Although everyone knows it's Buddha bowls. La da 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 dum. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear FCHS. Happy birthday to you. It's 2 times, right, that we have to sing the happy birthday song when we wash our hands. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. I'm getting under my fingernails. Happy birthday to you. All right, that's done now. Hands are nice and washed. It says that we have 4 people on. Hello, 4 people that are on. Welcome. I hope everyone is doing well during the quarantine, staying safe. We're all in this together, right? So, my name is Sigrid Solis. I think we're gonna start. My name is Sigrid Solis. I am a program coordinator for FCHS Family and Community Health Sciences for Somerset County. I am currently in my home in Morristown, so a bit of ways from Somerset County, but with you guys in spirit, solidarity. Where are you guys from? Where are you guys tuning in from? Leave a comment. Leave a comment below about where you guys are tuning in from, / what plans you have for lunch. This is whatever we make right now. That's what I'm going to be eating for lunch, which is going to be a bit of an impromptu meal, but that is the purpose of today's video. We are going to be just kind of assembling a Buddha bowl, which I'll be discussing what a Buddha bowl is. We will be assembling a Buddha bowl with what you have on hand, because obviously we are all at home and sometimes you just have to scrap together a meal based off of what you have in the pantry, in the fridge, in the freezer, whip up some condiments, maybe even come up with your own kind of condiments. So that's what today's lesson is, or today's video is about. So yeah, let's see, we've still got a solid 4 people viewing, so awesome. Hello, 4 people that are viewing. So Buddha bowl, what is a Buddha bowl? You might have seen these in restaurants. I think in the past couple years they have become a bit of a buzzy thing. I looked it up, I did a little bit of research, not too much, but essentially a Buddha bowl, the reason it's called Buddha bowl is, I guess, because the way that it looks resembles the Buddha from Buddhist religion, the Buddha's belly, right? So that is why we have our bowl here. It can be any kind of bowl. It does not have to be this big. This is obviously a massive bowl. It's very large, but we're gonna have a lot of greens today in our bowl, so that's gonna take up a lot of volume, so obviously we'll need a big bowl for that. Obviously if I had a lot more calorie dense food, I wouldn't be using as big of a bowl. But Buddha bowls, what's nice about them is it's kind of like tapas. You can't really make that, there's really no wrong way to do Buddha bowls. It's really just an assembly of things that you have on hand. Typically you have some kind of grain, which our grain today will be quinoa. We've got some nice red quinoa that I made yesterday. Super easy to make. You just boil some water, add in a teaspoon of olive oil, and then you pop in the quinoa as soon as there's a rolling boil to the water, and in about 15 to 20 minutes, it's ready. You just fluff it up a bit, kind of like couscous. So some other grains that I would typically use in a Buddha bowl would be brown rice, couscous, what other grains? That's typically what I use. What I like about quinoa is that we've got some extra protein here from that. We won't be using any meat proteins today. We'll be using a lot of plant-based proteins, and quinoa is definitely one of my favorite plant-based proteins. Another thing that we have in our Buddha bowl today is, which let me just bring it up to you, will be sweet potatoes. These were roasted yesterday. They are very tasty. I leave the skins on just for some added fiber. Lots of vitamin A here. As with all of our nice orange vegetables. With the sweet potatoes, what I did is I chopped them up to about that width, about an inch, cube them 1 inch, toss them in a little bit of olive oil, some paprika that I had on hand, some salt, and some pepper. You can add in some garlic powder, some onion powder, really any kind of spice works with sweet potatoes, I feel like. Then we've got some carrots here, which I will be grating. I've got some tomatoes, some diced tomatoes that I ended up not using all of yesterday, so I'll just be tossing them in today. Again, what I like about this kind of recipe is that you can pretty much use anything anything from yesterday, any leftovers, you can just kind of reconfigure them and make your Buddha bowl. And then another thing that we have, start the show, in my opinion, avocado, which I know it's kind of hard to keep avocados. I happen to have these avocados. They happen to ripen, but I have them from about a week ago. I haven't gone to the grocery stores in about a week. So they've, this is definitely something that you won't typically have on hand. I just happen to have it on hand today. We've got some arugula here. Nice green, so I like to incorporate greens whenever I can. Arugula is one of my favorite just because it's so nice and spicy. I like the texture of it. Yeah, and I'm actually thinking about growing it. I'll see if I can grow some arugula this year. We'll see what happens. What's nice about this arugula is that it is triple washed, which if you've been to any of our Eat Greens classes that we host all throughout the county, you'll know that if something has been pre-washed, you do not have to wash it again. And I know we all have the urge to wash things again, like it came from the grocery store, we have to wash it. If it's a green that has been packaged, it's been triple washed. The industries, the food companies that are in charge of washing these washing greens, they do a really good job. They have these industrial washers. They've got these standards that they have to upkeep, so it's really safe to consume. And if anything, you might be actually when you do rewash it, you might be compromising the already washed food. It's already been washed, so do not have to do that again. Just gonna open that up. And then one last thing, I said that we're gonna have some plant-based protein. Well, actually, before I move on to that, since this is already here, we've got some tahini, which I will be whipping up some kind of spread or sauce. I haven't really decided yet, but we'll be figuring that out as we go. It's gonna be tahini. I think I'm gonna just mix it up with some Greek yogurt and a little bit of lemon juice, and that's something that I'm just gonna smear right on top. Okay, I already decided. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create a smear. So let's move on to our tofu. That's what I'll be, I guess, demoing today. I pressed the tofu that I had. What I usually do is I usually place like a cutting board, right? So something like this. One of these nice little flexy ones. Let me see if I can flip this around. I've got my gloves on and I'm handling the phone. Don't worry, I'll change out my gloves once I actually handle the food. So what I usually do when I press the tofu is I put down one of these kind of mats. I grab some paper towel, put this down. I'll usually lay the tofu right down here, and then right above my microwave, I've got this nice heavy cutting board with a nice heavy bowl with some nice things in there just to really press the tofu and get all the liquid out. Obviously, if we are going to be frying up our tofu and we have liquid, that is going to just create a mess, and you just generally want to get rid of as much liquid as possible. So I already did that yesterday. I'm going to change out my gloves. Does anyone else cook with tofu? While I'm changing out my gloves, leave a comment below. What are some of your favorite ways to eat tofu? I've actually seen on the back of the package that you can throw tofu into a smoothie, which I have personally never tried, but I'm not opposed to it. I'd throw that into a smoothie. I love smoothies. And I love Jennifer's smoothie recipes from a couple of weeks ago. That was so good. All right, so let's get going. I'm just going to, with a napkin, my phone a little just so you can sort of see what I'm doing. Maybe, I guess that shall have to do. All right, so let us fry up our tofu. So this tofu I cut up into about 1.5 inches, right? More or less. That's the kind of size. You can decide on the size that you want. I was gonna make them a little bit bigger, but then last minute decided to make them a little bit smaller. After I pressed my tofu, I decided to just lower the heat over here. After I pressed the tofu, I decided to marinate it in a little bit of soy sauce, low sodium, because I am trying to avoid as much sodium as possible. I put in a little bit of garlic. It's the diced kind, the one that already comes in the jar, because I happen to have that on hand. And some ground ginger. There's some flecks of orange. What else did I? Oh, and a little bit of paprika, I guess. Put in a little bit of paprika as well. All right, so I'm going to grab some oil. Some nice extra virgin olive oil, one of my favorite oils to cook with because it is pretty versatile. You can cook with it. You can use it cold on salads and that kind of thing. So I like doing that. So here is about, I'd say about half a tablespoon. What is that, a teaspoon? I guess a teaspoon. I try not to use a lot of oil because a lot of the food that I already cooked with has oil. Like the potatoes, I tossed them in a little bit of oil. The red quinoa that I cooked also had a little bit of oil. We have our nice healthy oils from the avocado. So I'm trying to just, with all these things, obviously they do need a little bit of oil. So just trying to limit the amount. Right, so that's a good amount. I think our pan is hot enough. Let's see, what did we say about our tofu? Love the sweet potatoes. Yes, sweet potatoes are so good. Smoothies with silken tofu. Yes, that's exactly the kind that I'm talking about. The silken tofu. And curry. Love me a good curry. Love me a good curry. Used to crumbles in spaghetti sauce. Oh, actually, I have and I froze it because I knew I wasn't going to use a lot of it, but I batch cooked a tomato sauce with some soy chorizo. So it was a tofu. It's kind of like a tofu that you make sort of in the style of chorizo. You spice it up. You add in some Mexican spices. I added in some kale. There's plenty of garlic, plenty of onion in here. So I have a couple of other of these containers. I just cooked up a whole big pot of this sauce and I've frozen it into nice portions that I can just take out and use for the day. Because I don't know about you guys, but I get sick and tired of eating the same thing every day. So that is why I like to portion things out and freeze them. So yeah, definitely love the crumbles. Very versatile. Definitely a nice way to add a little bit more protein to your sauces too. And it's a nice way to thicken sauces up too. All right, so that's nice and hot. Just gonna put our tofu in. So some people will tend to coat this in cornstarch just to get it a little bit crispy. I already like tofu, so I don't really need it to have that texture for me to eat it, but I know that that's typically how people will like it. So definitely feel free to coat it in some cornstarch just to give it that crispy texture. This is smelling so good right now. The bummer about these Facebook Lives is that you can't smell what's going on here in the kitchen, but it smells phenomenal. Right. So we're just gonna let that fry up on one side. While that's happening, I guess I'll bring the grater over here since our phone's already down. Just grate up some carrots. So again, with our napkin, I'm just gonna move the phone a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna grate up the carrots while those tofu pieces just brown a little on one side. Grated carrots, which I just ran out yesterday. I used up the last bit, but grated carrots are just one of those things that I think actually the pasta sauce that I made had some grated carrots to add a little bit of natural sweetness to balance out the acidity of the tomato. But grated carrots, definitely underrated. I love that you can just have some in the fridge and toss them into anything. You can just have it on its own. Yesterday I made a tzatziki and decided to add in a little bit of grated carrot just to make it a little bit sweeter, and felt like quite a treat. Anyone else a fan of grated carrots, shredded carrots? I used to buy the bag kind, which if you do buy the bag kind and compare unit prices, it is just so much cheaper to grate your own. A little bit tedious. I know you can do this in a food processor, but mine is all the way up in a cabinet and I do not feel like getting it down. I'd much rather just grate it by hand. All right, we've got about 7 people now. Hello. Hello, my 7 people. All right, carrots are grated. We've got some little nubs, which I'll just probably snack on a little bit later. There we go. Check on our tofu. Let's see what we have. Oh, these are browning very nicely. Super, super nicely. I will grab the phone so you guys can take a look at what's happening. And again, I've got the napkin on it so you guys don't have to worry. Rotate my phone. You can turn your phone while recording. Thank you, Facebook. All right. So I guess I'll just have to... There we go. So here we have our tofu. These guys I've already flipped. These are doing a nice job of browning over here. Very nice. We've got some nice little pieces of garlic, which you may choose, if you're not a big fan of garlic, you may choose to just shake those off. I'm probably just going to leave them on. Let's see. Is our Facebook Live running a little bit long? How long have we been on this thing? Does it say? We've been going live for 18 minutes. Wow, I thought I'd barely get through 5 minutes. Okay. Well, we're going to speed this up a little bit. Sorry, this is bordering on the long. On the long side, but we are almost there. But you know what they say, good things happen to those who wait, right? So this is really going to be a nice treat. I really do feel like having a nice high protein lunch today. I went biking yesterday because it was so nice and my legs are just dead. They are in need of some protein. Definitely need to build up those leg muscles that I just shredded yesterday. Who knew there were so many hills in Morristown? I didn't, but now I know. All right, so that is almost ready. We'll be a little bit patient. See, if I had a little bit more time, I'd probably flip it on all sides so all sides are a little bit crispy, but we'll say that's ready. Turn off the heat. And now, moment of truth, we are going to assemble our Buddha bowl. So I'll just set the phone down right here so you guys can take a look at what I'm doing. So like I said, Buddha bowl is super easy. I've got my tofu, so I'm just going to grab a couple of spoonfuls of the red quinoa. Place it on one side. Then right next to that, I'll do my sweet potato, which, oh my goodness, so delicious. It's starting to look so colorful. I've got my arugula, so I'm just going to grab a bunch of arugula. Just place that on one side. Right, and place some of our tofu off to one side as well. Some of the arugula might get a little bit wilted from the heat of the tofu. I don't mind it. I like arugula, however, and then we've got our carrot, which I'm just going to sprinkle right on top of the arugula. Probably add in a little bit of the tomatoes right on top of the shredded carrots. This is really starting to look like quite the meal. I'm going to toss in just a few more sweet potatoes. That's already looking so good. I'm so ready to eat this. But I did say that we're going to make a yogurt sauce, so this is just going to be something that I whip up super fast. And this is generally what, even outside of quarantine, generally how I eat. Just something that's quick on the go with whatever I have on hand. Like I said, I try to have little things already pre-made so that way I don't have to think about it too much. So I'm just going to grab some of the tahini, just a little bit. Like I said, we already have quite a few fats in our dish. And then we got our Greek yogurt, which is non-fat. Also a nice source of protein. Just going to whip that together. I hope I'm still in frame. Sorry for the very rough Facebook Live, but still learning. Still learning. What are some of, I guess while I'm whipping this up, what are some of your favorite sauces to have on hand? I think this is one that I generally tend to make just because I like the tanginess of it, especially with the sweetness of the carrot and the sweetness of the sweet potato. I feel like it's a nice, oh my gosh. It's a nice way to balance it. Sorry about that. So just leave it in the comments what some of your favorite ways to, what are some of your favorite sauces? All right. So sauce is almost ready. I thinned it out a little bit with just a bit of water. Just mixing, just mixing. Da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum. And then we've got a nice lemon that I'm definitely going to add to this. And probably a little bit of salt. I think it needs just a little bit more yogurt. Right. There we go. So it's about 2 tablespoons of yogurt, and I used about 1 tablespoon of tahini. And then I'm just going to add in a little bit of salt and a little bit of, yeah, that's like a nice consistency. Still a little bit bumpy, so I'm just gonna mix out some of the lumps. Since I'm just eating it myself and not really serving this to anyone else, I usually I'm not super picky about lumps in my sauces, but I know some people are, so you can continue mixing until it is completely silky and smooth. That's a nice consistency to me, so I'm just going to grab lemon. Squeeze in a little bit there. I am such a freak about lemons. I love putting it in almost everything that I eat, so I'm probably just going to sprinkle some on top anyway. And then this, I'll just kind of drizzle right on top, like so. Oh boy, I'm so ready to eat this. So here is our Buddha bowl. We've got our quinoa, we've got our sweet potatoes, arugula, some carrots, some tomato. Ooh, we forgot our avocado. How could we forget the avocado? Just gonna throw that on top right now. Got our avocado, and then our tofu, and then our nice sauce on top. So let me know if you guys try this. There are definitely other ways to make this. You can use chicken, you can use beef, turkey, whatever protein you want, any grain you want, any veggies you want. Super simple, super easy, and thanks for joining me. Take care and stay safe.